Hello and welcome to the GrianaigCreations podcast channel. This is episode 88. My name is Kirsty, my pronouns are they, them, and I am coming to you from Paisley in Scotland. Hello! So it's been a while since I had a podcast episode out. I hope you really enjoyed the last video I put up, which was for the Scottish Wheel Producers Showcase in Perth. But on the sense of like an actual podcast, it's been about a month. I try to record every 2 weeks, but I've been having a lot of health issues recently. One of them I'm away to see a specialist about today. I'm possibly looking at having some surgery. But the other one is just my good old body not playing ball. I've had joint issues for as long as I've had Crohn's disease because the two go hand in hand. But this time it's really affected my left wrist. It is my non-dominant hand, but when it comes to like knitting and stuff, it's the one that bears the most weight. I don't know the technicalities, I don't know like the finer details, I just know it hurts a lot and I needed to really rest up and stop using my wrist. So I've pretty much had it in some form of splint the last couple of weeks. It's not been the full 4 weeks that it's been really playing up, so I do have some knitting to show off, but especially the last 2 weeks have been really tough and really hard on me. I've also been using heat therapy and like gels and creams, like pain relieving gels and creams, because I try not to take painkillers just because I can only take paracetamol and I really don't want to build up a resistance to them. So yeah, I've been using it's kind of like a gel, sealed gel that you boil because you're not allowed to microwave it, and then you weight it around your wrist, which has really helped. Sorry, I get an itchy eye. I wonder if I got a wee bit of dust in it earlier. And then I've been wearing my splints at night. I've been wearing them when I'm working because even doing some typing for my day job has been irritating it. I've also really drastically cut down on the amount that I'm able to craft. Knitting was just out the picture for a while. Crochet was a bit hit or miss as well, but I was thankfully still able to do some sort of crochet work. Crochet, I just said that. Cross stitch, I've been able to do some sort of cross stitch. I haven't even attempted spinning. I do want to try weaving, but I just haven't got around to building my loom again. And then also it's just warping it up that I think will actually hurt me more. More than just my wrist. I think it will also hurt my back and stuff as well from previous experience. If I could pay someone to warp up my loom, I would do it. Hands down, I would do it. But yeah, so that's been happening. I've been feeling a lot better the last couple of days, but I don't want to jinx it. I did some crochet yesterday, which felt great to get back to, but I have not knitted at all. I've not knit a single stitch recently because I don't want to go backwards in my recovery or my healing process, whatever we want to call it. But yeah, some people might be hearing this and think, well, what's the big deal? You just stop doing stuff for a couple of weeks and you just rest. And I've been thinking about why it's been hitting me so hard and why it's been so upsetting. And I came to the revelation that it's been on the 28th of March this year, it had been 10 years since my Crohn's surgery. And then that meant that I'd been diagnosed for 11 years. And throughout this whole journey that I've had with my Crohn's disease, I've always had knitting or crochet to get me through. Whether that's on the days where my body from the bowel down just doesn't want to work very well, or whether it's bad mental health days because of the Crohn's disease, I have always had knitting or crochet to get me through. And whether that was curled up on the couch, in my bed because I just don't have the energy, whether that's out in a coffee shop just to get out of the house or whatever, I've always had it to get me through my lowest and toughest points with my journey. And now all of a sudden that had just been yanked away from me, and that was really really difficult to deal with. Like, that was so hard for me to kind of wrap my head around and be like, well, what do I do now? Like, I could read a book, yep, I could play my Switch, maybe, because again, I would still have to use my hand and my wrist. And I did try and read a book, and like holding, I've had to change how I hold plates and bowls, which has been a real interesting journey. I can't do the dishes because of how it is affecting my wrist. Like, this is more than just knitting and crochet this is affecting. But not being able to do that, to have something to distract me from the whole thing, has been really, really difficult. But I've been resting now for about 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks that this has been going on for, and yeah, I'm getting a bit better. It's not nearly as sore. I haven't had to put on like my ibuprofen gel, or I have a CBD cream that I can put on. I don't have to use my heat therapy as much, and I haven't actually had to wear my splint in 2 days, which has been fantastic. So I think I'm on the onwards and upwards, but I have been experimenting with what I can and cannot do, and currently, I'm hoping it will change because you know how much I love to knit socks. Currently, I cannot knit with anything finer than a DK yarn, which really sucks because that's the majority of my yarn. The majority of what I own is all 4-ply, and I can't knit with it currently. So yeah, that sucks. But anyway, I do have some finished objects to share with you. I've got 2. I've then got all my works in progress to show off, because over the last month I have made some sort of progress on it at some point. The knitting hasn't been touched in about 2 weeks, so that will be the progress the first 2 weeks of the month I've been away. And then I do have some crochet and I have some cross stitch. So, on to finished projects. On my last podcast, if you have seen it, you saw the start of my second hat, and I finished it. So I finished this probably the day of or the day after the last podcast, and as if you'd seen it, you will know that I made a first one, and it's great. It's clearly still got an end to be woven in, and yeah, I wove in all the ends on that one. But I think I just made this too snug. It fits, don't get me wrong. It does feel like someone is squeezing my brain a little bit though, which is not pleasant, but not horrific. Like, I could definitely still wear it. And it also just needed to be a smidge longer. So here comes along this one. I put on more stitches. I made it a little bit longer, but I still didn't follow the correct process, because I was meant to have cast on so many, done the brim, and then decreased, I think it's like 2 stitches or something, and then the decreases would have been a lot easier. But me being me, did not pay attention and just went for it. But it works, it fits, and I really, really like it. But the weather has been glorious again here, so I've not had the chance to wear it. So this was yarn that you could get in the supermarket here in the UK called Aldi. It was classed as a hat yarn, like it was sold as a hat yarn, and it came in an 80-gram ball or cake, which was really, really bizarre to me. I'd not seen somewhere selling 80 grams that wasn't an indie dyer. But like you can see here, I did manage to get 2 full adult hats out of that, and I still think if I knew what it was, there's definitely some sort of leftover. I actually think I binned it. So yeah, 2 adult hats out of 80 grams, more than happy with that. Okay, The next finished object I am super happy with and over the moon to have cast off. Cast off? How do you say you finish cross stitch? Stitched off? I don't know. I started this cross stitch project in 2019. Right at the start of 2019, because I had my shoulder surgery then, and I got told by my physiotherapist that I was not allowed to knit for like, I think it's like 12 weeks he told me I wasn't allowed to knit for. Didn't last that long. So I went out to my local stitching shop. Was local. Now I guess it still is the most local that I have, which was Hearts and Stitches in Inverclyde. And I got this. Okay, the bottom bit's kind of blowing out, but I will zoom in. So I started this project in 2019 and I got a big bit done and then I put it down because I was able to knit and crochet again. And then I would pick it up and I'd do like an hour or two, and then I'd put it back down again. And then like 6 months later I'd pick it back up. You see the cycle. And then I don't know why I'm going to my shoulder. And then everything with my wrist caused me to be like, right, okay, let's try it. Let's see if we can do some cross stitch. And I have been able to get this finished. So the bottom bit says, hang in there. And it's a kitten or a cat hanging off a branch. So I need to go into YouTube and I need to figure out or find out what I should do now. Like, do I iron it? What do I do? Because you can still see like the circles where my hoop was. So I don't know if you're meant to iron it or what. And then I need to see if this is something I can do, which is try and get it into a frame. If I mess it up, then fine, I guess. Like, I want to be able to put this on my wall, like right by my desk. But I don't know. I'm not in the position where I could pay someone to frame this, and I also don't know if we have somewhere like that in Glasgow or Scotland in general. There probably is, but I'm also fully aware that at least in America it's not cheap to pay someone to do that, and obviously they have the craftsmanship, they have the knowledge and the skills that I do not have, but I also do not have the money to be doing such a luxury. Weddings are expensive. So I'm going to do my research and see how I'm meant to finish this, and see if there's some sort of tutorial online to get it ready for a frame. Don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I got it finished. So happy it's done. Okay, works in progress. There's a few. There's one I'm over the moon with. There's all the knitting that has not been touched in 2 weeks. And there's a new cross stitch project. So let's leave the one I'm really over the moon with until last. So we'll do this one first. Mostly because I forgot the name of that project. So this is my goodness, my brain has just gone absolutely blank. This is my Stephen West Westlund. There we go, knew it would come to me eventually. I have split for the sleeves, and I think I've done about 2 inches after the sleeves. 3 inches. I have worked 3 inches after the sleeve separation. There's so many ends because the balls of yarn are only like 50 grams. Let's put that on the needle. But yep, I'm really pleased with how this is turning out, and I think I'm going to try and work on this because this is worsted weight. So it is quite thick in comparison to some other things that I could be working on. So if I hold it up closer, you'll see the stitch definition is fantastic. and then that's the arm separation. So yep, this hasn't been touched in a couple of weeks now, which is such a shame because I was really, really loving working on this. And I don't know actually if the changing between knit and purl so often is maybe what's contributed to my very poorly wrist. I hope not, because I have to finish the project. But it was an absolute delight when I was working on it, and I do want to get back to it because I do think it's going to be such a great sweater to have, and it's just going to be one that you can chuck on with so many different outfits. And then this one, not gonna lie, the name of the pattern is totally boring. Boring sweater, there we go. I have been able to work on this a little bit, maybe like a round at a time, but still progress is progress. It might not look like I've done very much since you last saw it, but then even though I was able to work on it a little bit, I still put it down just to allow my wrist to heal. So that is the Boring sweater. That is by Freiberg. And it's going to be absolutely glorious when it's finished. It really, really is. I might add in some extra stitches to help it flare out because I am a big person. I am on the curvy plus size side, aka fat, and I would like to make sure that this is definitely going to fit over my stomach and not be too clingy, too tight. I don't like tight jumpers, and so I think I'm just going to add some increases at both sides and allow for a little bit of flare to go around the tummy and just have that extra comfort. So I think it's probably around about the time I would want to start adding those increases in, because that's sitting about my natural waist, and so it's about the time I'm going to want to start putting in those increases. And so when I feel like I'm ready to start knitting, I will start to put in some increases, because it's now just straight knitting all the way down, and then obviously the, I don't want to say cuff, ribbing, we'll just go with ribbing, the ribbing at the bottom. But for now it is straight knitting, and I'm going to make it a full length jumper. I don't want cropped. I might even make it like somewhere between hips and bum, so it's quite a long jumper, so it's nice and cozy. I have more than enough yarn, so the length is not a worry, and then eventually I will get to the sleeves. Okay, so we may as well just stick with knitting. So the reason I am so sure that I can't knit with 4-ply weight yarn is because I started trying to knit a sock for my mum. It is my mummy's 60th birthday, and yes, I just said mummy, so what? It is my mama bear's 60th birthday next weekend, and I wanted to knit her some socks, but this is literally as far as I got, and I cast these on 2 weeks ago. Now, for anyone that has watched my podcast in the past, you will know that I am prolific when it comes to socks, especially just straight vanilla socks. I work on these during my work. I work on them when Scott's driving and we're going somewhere. Like, I am literally, I could probably knit socks in my sleep. That's how much I can just fly through them. I can normally get one sock done in 2 days. And I wonder why my wrist hurts. But yeah, this is literally as far as I got on these socks, and I'm gutted because I know she would have appreciated them, but I also know that she understands that I'm not going to knit something and get it finished just for a present and put my body at risk of serious injury. So yeah, that is how I know I can't knit with 4-ply. So, talking of my mama bear and it being her 60th, I thought what perfect time to work on her blanket, because I was deluded and thought that somehow I could get this finished for her 60th. And that thought process came into my mind about a week to 2 weeks ago. So how on earth I thought I would get this blanket finished in 3 weeks is beyond me. But then, even though it's said to be a DK weight, it's a very, very fine DK weight. So to me, it's almost like a 4-ply. And also it's like treble crochets, US term. I don't know what that is, UK term. So big stitches, small needle. I think this is on a 3.75 hook. Sorry, I don't mean needle, I mean hook. Yep, 3.75mm crochet hook. Apparently DK weight yarn. And it's a blanket. Don't know how I thought I was going to get this done in 3 weeks' time. But it hasn't been touched in at least the last 2 weeks. And that is the Wool Eater, Yarn Eater blanket. I will link it below. It is a freebie. And yeah. Somehow, in my head, I thought I would be able to work on this and have somewhat of a reasonable blanket to show for my progress to give to her on her birthday, which is now less than a week away. It's not going to work. Sorry, Mum. But it'll get done. This is being knit in I think it's yarn that's come from Turkey. I can't think of the website. But this is a Baby Batik Elise. Sorry, there's such glare on that. And I have this ball and another 2 balls, so hopefully it's going to be some sort of sizable blanket. Even if it's a lap blanket, I know she'll love it because she actually requested this. Okay, on to the crochet project I am over the moon about. Right, which is the right side. I decided that because I can do some crochet, and at least on DK weight and at least a 4mm needle, that I wanted to continue my wanting for garments. Well, maybe not wanting, I feel the need to be making garments at the moment. I am in a proper garment kick, and not being able to knit on the 3 that I have in progress, 2 you've seen, 1 you haven't, because it's tucked away over there and I can't bother going to get it, to be perfectly honest, and it's in 4-ply, so I can't work on it anytime soon. I decided that I wanted to try and make another one of these. So when I say another one of these, this is a pattern that I've kind of come up with. I'm saying kind of because I've barely written it down. It's kind of all in my head just now. I am winging it 100%. This is going to be a sweater. So at the moment I'm not working on the sleeves, which are here. I am just working on getting that body nice and long. I have put in increases, so you can see that it is actually going out further down here. There's 2 sets of increases here, and same on the other side. Again, to cater for my rather rotund stomach. And I am... Originally when I started this project, I had 3 balls of yarn. I had a golden mustard colour, I had a very gorgeous light duck egg blue, and I had this red. Oh, you can see the duck egg blue, it's on the top. And I had it in my head I was going to stripe it. I had 2 balls of red, 2 balls of gold, and 1 ball of duck egg blue. So I was going to alternate between red, gold, duck egg, gold, red. Red, gold, duck egg, gold, red. more duck egg, and then if I'd gone gold red, I was going to go red gold. I had it in my head, and then I started it, and I was like, I don't wanna have to stripe. I don't want to have to weave in all those ends. I just want one colour with an accent, and the red one. You know how much I love the mustard colours. I love them so much, but the red really won out on this occasion. And deep down, I knew I wasn't going to have enough yarn. That didn't stop me. Stupidly. So I've had to go to my yarn shop, and I got 3 more balls of yarn. 1 for each sleeve, even though I doubt I'm going to need 1 full ball for each sleeve, and 2, was it? Yeah, and just 1 extra for the body. I don't know why I'm saying 2. So once I'm finished this one, which is my extra one for the body, I'm going to work on the sleeves. And I'm going to see if I can get 2 sleeves out of 1 ball, and then maybe make the body even longer. And then my cuffs and my ribbing, and then I'm actually going to pick up for the ribbing around the neck, I'm going to do in the duck egg blue, because I think that would be absolutely gorgeous. So at the moment, this is sitting about my natural waist. And so I do have quite a bit to go, because I don't want a cropped jumper. I don't want all my jumpers and garments to be cropped. I want some nice long ones for the cold winter days. And I'm doing this again, it's worn out on my hook, but I think it's either a 4 or a 4.5. Although I can see an outline of oh, it's a G. I was like, that looks like a 6, that's not right. Is that a G? I'm not sure. Like, these hooks are great because they light up, but the writing on them wears off like so easily. But it does look like a G, so whatever a G is the size I'm using. I will Google that afterwards, but not right now. So yeah, this is what I'm working on. That is what I worked on yesterday at least. We went to the beach yesterday. That will be in a separate vlog. That will be in a separate birthday vlog. I hope no one thinks like I'm pure like rubbing it in because it was my birthday at the weekend and I showed off what we done. But it was more content. I know some people will be interested. But I took this to the beach with me yesterday. I worked on it once we got home, and my wrist was absolutely fine, but I could feel it twinging a little bit as I was heading to bed, so I'm not going to work on it today. I'm probably going to work on some cross stitch today, to be fair, and I'll show you that next. But my camera's about to die, so I'm going to restart it, and then I will jump straight into showing you my new cross stitch project. And we're back. So I'm really enjoying and really getting into cross stitch at the moment, because I was picking up my hang in there cross stitch for, you know, 3 years old, but still. And I decided to go through all of my supplies and dig out all my crochet. Oh, why do I keep calling it crochet? All my cross stitch, to see what other items I could be working on. I want to try and keep my crochet, oh there I go again, I want to try and keep my cross stitch fairly monogamous. I don't want to have a bunch of cross stitch on the go at one time. I don't have that many hoops, so that's kind of a factor in why I don't want to. But when I finished the hang in there project, I decided to go up to my craft hellhole, because it's got no organisation to it whatsoever, and I dug out all of my cross stitch, which is not very much. And one of the items I was originally looking at destashing, because I didn't think I was going to want to work on it, was this project here. So just a simple butterfly. I say simple, there's quite a few colours in this. 12 different colours, and technically I've put 3 in, but two are so similar that I can't tell them apart now that they're on the hoop. So in this section here, there is two different colours of that pinkish red, but you wouldn't have a clue. I can't see the difference, which is a nightmare when you're trying to figure out where you have and have not cross-stitched. So I was going to try and do complete each colour, but seeing this, I might need to give this one a miss until later on to maybe have it be like the last colour, because I'm really struggling with these two very, very similar colours. Because they were kind of kept separate on the card, you thought they looked extremely different, but when you actually put them together, they're pretty much almost identical. And so it is very, very difficult to work on. Even in broad daylight, it's extremely difficult to tell the two apart. And so I might leave this colour until last, maybe. But it's a really gorgeous piece. Like, it really is a beautiful piece. And it's going to be fantastic for me, who is not an advanced cross stitcher by any means. I am definitely a newbie. I'm still learning the correct way to cross stitch. I change how I do it every time, and you can tell by the back of my cross stitch that I do keep chopping and changing how I do it. Well, I can tell. But yeah, I'm trying better this time. I'm trying to keep my stitches uniform, so I'll try and go either, like, I'll try and have my stitches, this, you get to remember this is kind of like reversed. I try and have them go that way, and then I'll go back and go the opposite direction. And so I always try to have them that way so that it's layered that way on top of each other, if that makes sense. I don't know, I'm just trying to keep them uniform, but I keep chopping and changing how, like if I do a row, or do I do a column, or do I just do the whole area working from top to bottom and then go back up and put in my opposite stitch. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to find out what's tongue-tied, what's working best for me against kind of what is the normal. I'm just trying to find the best way for me to work it. So yeah, I think I'm going to pick that up tonight, and I'm probably going to pick like a super contrast colour, like the yellow or the purple. There's a wee bit of brown in it, but there's some nice, I think it's got some depth to it. And so I think I'm going to pick up a proper contrast colour and give that a try tonight, and see if I can just start filling in on some of the other colours before I go back to this very, very, very similar red. Because it's just so difficult. Like, you have to hold it at such a peculiar angle to even see a slight difference. And I don't want to do that with it being only the third colour I'm putting on. So I'm going to try and fill out some of the rest of it and then go back with this colour. But yeah, it shouldn't take too long. It is a very small piece, but I think it's really, really beautiful. I could see this literally just being kept in a hoop once it's finished and put on the wall or something, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked into how you finish cross stitch at all, like, just haven't looked into it. So that's all my works in progress. That took a lot longer than I thought it was, but I guess I'm a wee chatty Cathy. I do have one thing I want to show off, and this is from my wonderful friend Aileen. I mentioned earlier it was my birthday on Friday there, and she was so kind to get me a present, which I'm entirely touched about. I don't expect anyone to get me anything. The only thing I kind of would like is a card, and I got that. So. But she was very, very kind, and she bought me this cross stitch project. Oh, it's amazing. I mean, Darth Vader's holding an ice cream cone. So I've opened it all up, I've seen the pattern and everything, and I think it's going to be quite a big Ada. I haven't yet found anywhere that says the finished size. Quite a big Ada. I think it's going to be quite a big piece, because the Ada is quite big, but then again, you have more Ada than you need so that you can finish the project. Like finish it as in put it in a frame or something. So I do think it's still going to be quite a big finished piece, which I can't wait for, because I think this is going to be like, I genuinely think this is going to look amazing on the wall. And when I opened this, Scott was in the room, and this just goes to show what the last 2 years have done to him, and he just saw the box, like he literally just saw that, and he was just like, don't tell me Alien got your box of LFT kits for your birthday. And I just had to laugh. I was just like, no, she didn't give me a box of LFT kits. So that's your lateral flow kits, in case you don't know that. I want to say anagram, but that's so not right. In case you don't know that shorthand, LFT is lateral flow kit. And he clearly didn't read that, or didn't quite see the wording on it. Or maybe he just saw this side, which is white. But yeah, he thought my friend had got me LFT kits for my birthday. But then when I showed him, and I was just like, I pointed out all the things, so there's like a sandcastle, there's a wee seagull, Darth Vader's holding an ice cream cone. He absolutely loved it. And I have seen some of the other pieces that GrianaigCreations has, and I want so many of them now. I just have this horrible feeling that I have just started a brand new rabbit hole when it comes to cross stitch, and I already have so many like Halloween witchy gothic pieces that I want to do, and yeah, don't have the money. So I'm gonna do the butterfly and I'm gonna finish that, and then this is definitely going to be my next piece. Like I say, I want to remain fairly monogamous when it comes to my cross stitch pieces, and that's because I really only do have 3 hoops. So yes, I could have 3 projects on the go, but I just think that's going to be a slippy slope for me, and so I'm going to try and remain fairly monogamous and try and just work one thing at a time, complete it all the way through, and then I can move on. That's the plan. So yeah, that's it from me. I'm going to edit this and get it up, and then I'm also going to edit my kind of like my birthday video. If that's not your thing, I totally understand. Some people might see it as bragging, like this is what I got, because I'm not going to lie, I do show off some of my gifts. One of them is up there. I got this little llama alpaca. We haven't decided which one it is. Big breath. That's the only thing about podcasting with one person, you have to do all the talking. But yeah, I wanted to record a bit of my birthday, because my last 2 birthdays have been lockdown birthdays. First one I didn't even get to see Scott, second one was when we were in the flat, so I did get to see him, but I didn't get to see anyone else. And now obviously this was a birthday out of lockdown, so I got to spend it with Scott, my best friend, my goddaughters, my mum and dad, and then Scott and I went to the beach to recharge, because the water and that environment really kind of recharges my soul and my energy. So I just recorded a wee bit. It's not me bragging when it comes to gifts, by all means. It is definitely not me bragging. I don't ask for anything for my birthday, just ask Scott. I'm a nightmare because he always asks what do you want, and I just say a card. This year I said cards, a flower, flowers, and Millie's cookies. That's all I asked for this year. So it's not a video for me bragging, it's just I wanted to capture my birthday and share a wee bit of what I get up to outside of the crafting world. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this podcast. I'm sorry the first bit is a bit of a bummer and a bit of a downer, but that's life. That is what has been going on in my life, and yeah. So I'm gonna go because I have an appointment shortly. Hopefully it goes well. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you stay safe and you have enjoyed this. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share with your friends. Bye!